Hi, I'm Hannah Brown, and welcome to Better Tomorrow. My absolute favorite thing to do is have a heart-to-heart talk with my new friends and my best friends, where we sit down and talk about all the things like relationships and love, faith, and self-care. And of course, the little things as well, like the struggle to figure out what to eat tonight. All in all, I really want to ask, how am I better today than yesterday? And bring artists, entrepreneurs, and friends along on the journey. So join me on the journey, will you? Guys, thanks for being here. We've got Becca Tilley, Tanya Rad in the house.
Clapping for ourselves.
I like the clap. I love it. It's good. Thank y'all for being here. I've been on y'all's podcast quite a few times, and it's nice to have this role reversal. We'll see how I do. I don't know. I'm not a pro like you guys.
No, I love going on other people's podcasts.
How did y'all meet?
This is an interesting story.
Okay, Becca likes to make
She's already defending herself.
Becca likes to make it seem like I'm this bratty little girl that was like.
I didn't say you were a brat.
Okay, what?
You're getting defensive.
I am getting defensive.
Because Tanya, when she loves you, she loves you. So if you walk into a room and you have someone she's never met before, she is going to give you all of her attention, all of her excitement. And when I met her, I showed up with our friend at the time, who ended up being my boyfriend, so he's my ex now, but Robert and his friend Zach at an iHeart event in Vegas. And Tanya gets up and runs to them and is so excited. I don't even know if she acknowledged me right off the bat. I think Robert was like, oh, this is Becca. So my first impression of Tanya was she was kind of cold to me.
Cold?
I know. Harsh.
You know, I've been told that about myself.
Really?
Yes. I think, do you get are you one-track minded, or do you have ADHD or anything?
I mean, don't we all?
Don't we all?
Yeah, but I think it's because, she's right. I get so excited to see whoever that is that I know that, the stranger in the room is, probably left to feel a little sad.
I can do that sometimes. My fiance has given me that feedback. So I understand.
Yeah. And so that's where we met. But then I realized that we had a mutual friend in common.
So then you were interested.
Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were
friendly.
Laverne and Shirleying it.
No, we were friendly. And then I moved into the building and we literally shared a wall.
Yeah. So then she moved into my apartment building and we shared a wall.
Did you help her get this apartment?
No. Wasn't her doing.
Whose doing was it?
Amy Sugarman.
Oh, yeah. She decided to put y'all together.
No. She lived in the building too.
Amy did too.
Yeah.
So this was it was literally
Melrose Place.
Yeah, it was Melrose Place. It was a full sitcom.
Yeah.
And I was moving up from San Diego, and she said, I have a girl that's working with me. She needs a roommate in my building. Would you want to come live here? So I move in. I'm sharing a wall with Tanya. We weren't even super close at the time.
No, we'd met and exchanged greetings.
But shortly after that, I would hear someone just barge into my apartment. And if my door was locked, Tanya would be like, why is your door locked?
No, she would text you.
Because I was
and be like,
I'd bang on the door and be like, why is your door locked?
Yeah, there were some boundaries crossed.
Yeah, so you were really wanting to be friends? Were you not quite sure you wanted to be friends yet?
I was so excited to be her friend, but I don't like anyone barging into my home, my safe
I don't
space.
know personal space, and I don't like personal space. I need to be around people. I need to be around someone all the time, and I was single, so that happened to be Becca that I just needed to be around all the time.
And do you need alone time?
Yes. And I also love personal space. And I get very upset when it's not respected. And Tanya doesn't respect it. Tanya still treats me. I saw this thing that was your friend that you treat like a relationship, your friendship that you treat like a relationship. I am that friend for Tanya. She's very territorial of me.
It's true.
But she's engaged. She's an engaged woman.
Yeah. Thank God for him, right? I'd still be on you.
You're still on me, and you're engaged.
Yeah. Thank your lucky stars.
Have you always had a friend like that, in your life?
Yeah, and I was in a sorority in college, so I went from living with 50 girls
Were
to
you
8.
President?
Yes, I was not president, but I was vice president of education, where I was pledge mom and all those things. And so I went from living with 50 girls to a house with 8 girls to a house with 4 girls. So to only have one roommate was I need more I need more
Stimulation.
stimulation, commotion, energy.
Wow, I cannot relate to
I know,
that.
same.
But I like those. I like being around those people, and I wish I was more like that. But I really need my space. So how did y'all? Was there tension and stuff? Like, what? How did you
We're still
talk
working
about that?
through it,
You're
you know?
still working through
Every
it.
day.
Tension with her?
Yeah.
We still haven't established boundaries.
10 years later, still.
Do y'all have therapy sessions with your therapist about each other?
No, I just tell her how I feel, and then she does what she wants with that
It
information.
is very funny though, because if I like get my feelings hurt about something and I'll like express it to Becca, she really acknowledges like, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. It's like very like therapist. The way you
yeah.
respond to me is like very therapist like
Yeah.
because she like validates my feelings, says she's gonna work on it, and then like it's very funny.
Does she ever hurt your feelings?
No,
No.
I feel like it'd be hard to hurt your feelings.
that's not true.
You're very easygoing.
I'm pretty easygoing,
Yeah.
but I don't like if she hangs out with people and I'm not involved. I do not care. So happy for her
But you would care.
Yeah,
with certain friends.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
It's fun.
that's right.
It's
She
fun
doubles
being-
down.
It's fun being my friend.
But how did you start that relationship? Like, I'm just, because y'all are obviously like very, very different.
Yeah.
Now you can like be, I guess, pretty blunt and then validate and like listen to Tanya's feelings. And I don't know if you fully listen to
She hears
Becca's
me.
Yeah, I do hear her. And I think it's a real test of like just life, you know? Like life doesn't just give you what you want all the time. You know, like you have to work on it. You have to work through things. And I just feel like our relationship is very much like that.
Just
But I
life
think-
lessons.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like we are always there for each other. You know what I mean? Like and in the way that we both need each other to be. And I feel like I do respect you in that way.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
I'd say all the time.
I wouldn't say 100% you respect what I need all the time.
Like
Which is
if
fine.
if I need
who
you
you
for
are.
something, I will call instead of FaceTime.
that.
Yeah.
It's progress.
That's
Because I won't
progress.
answer.
Yeah.
I won't
that
answer the
hurts-
FaceTime.
And that'll hurt your feelings and this whole thing.
Yeah.
I really love y'all's relationship though, because even though it's always a work in progress, it's like you made a choice. Like you made a choice. You're going to be
I have
best
two
friends.
girlfriends. I have two girlfriends.
Yeah. How does Haley?
We're very
feel about
similar,
this?
by the way.
You and Haley?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I literally feel like I have two girlfriends.
So when like if it's very funny because if they're going through like an issue or whatever and like
You
she'll-
always side with Haley?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
she's always like, I really understand Haley's perspective. I'm like, I need to talk to Robbie, her fiance, because he gets me.
He does. He very much does.
Is he very much like Becca?
Yeah. Easy going, go with the flow, chill.
Don't make it a big thing.
Yeah, can't really like get under his skin ever.
That's how my fiance is. But I feel like we're both. I was just on your podcast and talked about this. We're both very avoidant people, so we have to really work about like connecting, getting together, really talking about what's going on. Like he just sent me this. Like we've been working on it a lot. He just sent me a message about something that's really been bothering him for the last 24 hours, and was like. It was so sweet. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could feel like normally he wouldn't do that. He would just let it roll off, and we really made some progress.
Something you did?
Not something I did.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about it later.
No, I
But-
just was wondering if he was like if you did something and he was able to go like, oh, you
Communicate
did
what it
something. Yeah,
was
'cause
and
that's
how
a
it
big
made him
deal.
feel.
Kind of. It's more like he needs just support from me from what he's feeling, which is
Gotcha.
great, is great. But I love how y'all's relationship really prepped you for now both of your long-term relationships. I love that for you guys. I love
Really
that.
set
You're
us up for
welcome.
success.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of touched on it, Tanya, about how the podcast, like you really weren't expecting it to be what it is, but y'all have really created like a community.
Yeah.
And that is really special. How do you think you were able to do that? Was that something that was like really like something intentional, or did your listeners just like, did you just go along with what they were responding and wanting from you guys?
It wasn't intentional at all, but I think at the end of the day, like obviously you can see Becca and I are so different, and I think that when you strip us down to our core, you can relate to either one of us in certain ways. And I think that's all people really want. And I feel like when I listen to podcasts, or at least in that time, every podcast really had its own kind of like niche. Like there were Bachelor rewatches and, you know, this rewatch, and everything was like, everything felt like it really had like a very niche structure. And ours was kind of, or like Hot Topics, you know, I feel like ours was the first podcast that felt like it was just two friends
having a conversation,
living their, like literally just living their lives and like catching up on stuff. And so I think that to me, and that's what I always want. Like I really take everything away. Like I would do the podcast with Becca till I'm 80.
Oh,
Like I'd be so cute.
So cute.
so cute.
We do
Becca's
we do have we do have I think the thing that we both are most proud of is the community we've built, because
Yeah.
we started a Facebook group kind of just as a community. It was almost like, why not, you know? And it's become this community of women who help each other and give advice, and it's so positive. Like if there's anything negative, people get upset and they message us because they're like, people are being really mean in the Facebook group, which is very standard.
Yes.
But for our community, it's not the usual. So I feel very proud, and I don't know what we did right, but we did something right, because they are proof of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I was like looking back I have this, they made us these, I don't even know what to call them, work of art. These giant frames, and in the background it was all different colored confetti from a Jonas Brothers concert, and they wrote every scrubber's name that like wanted to be a part of this gift, all of their names on these little pieces of confetti that just covered, it was like 1,000 of them, covered the back. And then they wrote like a little message like, Tanya, thank you for your model woman energy, we love you, or whatever. It's like a I don't know.
It's huge.
It's huge. And on the back they wrote this like really nice letter, and they sent it to us after we finished our tour. And like I'm like, that took time, effort, money, energy, all of the things. And like, we don't deserve that. And I sit and I put it up in my office at home, and I look at it every day just to remind me of like, this is why we do our podcast.
Yeah. I really love that. And like they support you guys so much. You have won how many People's Choice Awards?
Two.
Just two.
Just two.
We did beat Oprah.
One more than me.
Yeah.
Y'all beat Super Soul Sunday?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And Amy Schumer's.
Oh, yeah. Amy Schumer. Guys, y'all are a big deal.
We were nominated 3 times. We lost the third one.
Who won? Who beat you?
Emma
Call her dad?
Chamberlain.
Oh, Emma Chamberlain, yeah.
Yeah.
Tough.
But you were in it
We
with
were
Emma
in it,
Chamberlain
we were.
and Oprah and Amy
Oprah.
Schumer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed, and I think it really is a testament to see, like, even how you were saying, Becca, like just the way that your community responds and works with each other, and like because like it kind of took on like a whole thing of its own. Like y'all are in the Facebook group. Like these people are connecting together. Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Wait, you
I love it.
you're in it.
Yeah.
I love it too.
You do.
Yeah.
My fiance is in it. He like sends us screenshots of stuff all the time. Oh yeah. We're in it.
That's
Yeah, it's fun.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Tanya, you also, I've said this to you, like, I'm just amazed by all that you do, because you have, you've all been on the Ryan Seacrest. Is it Ryan Seacrest? I can't talk. Is it his show? What is it called?
On Air with Ryan Seacrest.
So you've been on Air with Ryan Seacrest for how long?
I've been with him for 13 years, on air for 9.
Like, that's every weekday, right?
Yeah.
You're waking up at
Crack of dawn.
and got to put on the smile and the face and bring the
You know, the thing is, I've
charisma.
Yeah, the
something.
Riz. I'm the Risley Bear. I bring the Risley Bear to the airwaves. Airwaves. But I think I've always been a morning person. Like, I could never do a night show. Like, if you were like, Tanya, you're going to get your dream show and you're going to do it from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., I don't think I can do it. I'm not my best self at night. I'm my best self first thing in the morning.
I do not understand that.
I don't know. No.
I am like, you don't need to talk to me for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd prefer you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how my fiance is.
Okay.
So it's good for him that
do
I have
you
this
have that
job.
boundary with him?
No, but I
Okay.
don't see him.
Okay.
Because I just get up and I go to work.
Okay.
So we don't really spend mornings exchanging pleasantries.
That's nice.
Yeah.
How do you juggle everything?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like I do. I'm really good about my calendar. I'm really I'm very prompt. I'm on a tight ship over here.
Are you a 1 on the Enneagram or
Yeah.
something? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a
see
really
that.
good like tight schedule. I keep everything in my calendar. And I try not to overcommit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think you would. That's awesome.
There was a time where I was, but it just wasn't serving me. Like,
Yeah.
for me, staying up past 10 p.m. is just never going to be a good idea.
You can't. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't stay up till 10 p.m. and I'm sleeping till 8. You know. So I respect it. I respect it. Was that what you always wanted to do? Like, did you want like to be on radio? Like, how did you even get this job?
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I think I did. I loved radio when I was in high school. Like, I loved it. I never had dreams as a kid to be like, I'm going to do this. Like, I was never that kid in school. I was just kind of getting by in school. And I loved school because I loved like sorority life. And like, I just loved, sporting events. Like, I was I loved the social aspect of school. And so when I was in college, I started working for a morning show out in Tucson. And then that's kind of how I really got into it. But I was always behind the scenes, like I was doing producing. And then I started with Ryan as a producer, and his co-host at the time, her name is Ellen Kay. She got her own morning show, and so they were auditioning new girls to be the co-host. And I'd never had like any on-air experience, but we just had a really good chemistry and a really good rapport. And so when they brought in this new girl, they created a third position for me. So the show became, instead of a 2-mic show, it became a 3-mic show. And I never even, like, it was so crazy. Like, it was such like a God thing in my life, because it was like, it really came to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was really crazy. And then that's when kind of everything happened.
And that's a big first job.
Yeah.
It
It came with a lot of men in authoritative positions that didn't feel like I deserved it or belonged there, because I didn't start out in like a small town. So that had its own challenges.
But like, did you struggle with like feeling like you had to prove yourself in some way?
I had imposter syndrome. I probably still have imposter syndrome. And I think that's part of why I work so hard, because I still don't feel like I deserve it.
I mean, I listened to On Air. I mean, didn't everybody listen to On Air? Like,
I listened to it before I got the job. Yeah.
And so like I had heard before like everything happened, like I knew who you were because I listened to the show. Yeah. I was a big like radio
That's
like
crazy
girl for sure. Like I loved it. And so like I just feel like you really bring something so special to that, and I hope you like know that now. Like the show wouldn't be the same without you, but I totally get like feeling that imposter syndrome and just like every aspect of life.
I had it real bad.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot, but I still have it, but it was like really bad.
Was there something that made you feel, or was it maybe starting the podcast that made you have a little bit of a shift of changing that?
It was kind of, I would say, when we got nominated for People's Choice Award, I started doing, called me to start doing red carpets for them.
Yeah.
And that was like a whole nother thing. Like I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I have imposter syndrome for the radio, but these people want me on television. Like that was like wild to me. And I feel like when all that stuff started happening, I was like, wow, okay, like maybe I do belong here.
Yeah.
Not deserve it. Deserve is not the right word, but like maybe I do belong here. Like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes. Like you have something special and you can like lean into that.
Thank you.
You really do. And Becca, we share something in common because you were on The Bachelor, not once, but twice.
Sure was.
And what made you decide to go on the show? Did you have these like dreams of doing something in entertainment when you decided to do this?
No, I went on because I thought I was going to get to travel to really cool places to see the world.
I love the honesty that you're like, I wanted to travel.
Well, in my mind, my friend nominated me, and when they called, it was so against everything that I believed about dating. You know, like I grew up being like, you should be pursued. You know, the competing with other girls felt insane. But I thought, well, they go to some really cool places. And what if I meet my guy? Like, how cool would that be? I remember the first night standing there my feet, I thought were going to fall off. I was like, my feet will never be the same after this. Mm-hmm. And I was waiting for this stranger that I hadn't talked to at all to give me a flower. Right. To like tell me like you're good enough.
To marry.
Well, I mean, this was night one.
Oh. Yeah.
Like that he was basing my worth on like giving me this flower. And I was like, what am I doing? But then there I was, and I went back.
And you
I said, I need more of that feeling.
Yeah, give me more.
But the best part, my travel dreams, we stayed in the Midwest basically the whole season.
Oh, yes!
Chris the farmer.
That's the best.
I mean, that's because I didn't realize that, but I did like a show with Caitlin, and she was telling me that because we were talking about like our different experiences. And like, I went to Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, and she's like, yeah, we didn't go anywhere. Like, oh, you went to Bali?
Yeah, final 3 went to Bali.
But yeah, I mean, our like week 3 we're in Singapore. Right. So it's just like a very different experience.
I'll never forget, Chris Harrison came in and was like, and are y'all ready to know where we're going? And we're like, and the mansion's so excited. He's like, we're going to Deadwood, South Dakota. And we're like, oh. Like, it was such a like strong silence, you know?
Why did you, other than... well, not getting to travel, like did you do it again to be like, hopefully this time
this is my chance?
Yeah.
No, I think what happened was after Chris's season, Caitlin was the Bachelorette, and I watched her premiere with her. I drove up to LA from San Diego, and we were in the hotel room watching it together, and Ben got out of the limo, and I was like, oh, he's so cute. And she was like, y'all would be perfect together. She was like, but I think he's going to be the Bachelor. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I tweeted something along the lines of like, Ben is, I said something like,
Big Ben is a 10. Wasn't that his tagline?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Big Ben is a 10. I don't know, but I said something like, Ben is what every 26-year-old virgin dreams of or something. Or the guy, something super
we need to
cringe.
read your old tweets.
No, we don't. Anyways. So I tweeted something like that, and it kind of had like a viral moment. And everyone was like, Becca, go back on. But I was like, I'll never ask the producers to go back on.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks before they started filming, one of the producers, Alon, texted me, and he was like, what are you doing this fall? And I was like, why? And he goes, you know why? And I go, I want to do it because I want to meet Ben, but I'll only do it if you let me start from the beginning. I don't want to come in and be drama.
Yeah.
And he was like, fine. So I did.
And were you... what you had this idea of like, oh, I think me and Ben would be great together, and your friends telling you, oh, I think you'd be great together. Like when you met him, how did you feel?
I liked him a lot.
You did?
Yeah,
okay.
I cried. Like that season, because Chris's season, I was very cool. I was like, these girls are crazy. Like this, I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm so confident. And then on Ben's season, it was very different because I think what happened is I knew Chris liked me.
Yeah.
Ben, the whole time, I was like, I don't feel like he likes me as much as these other girls.
Oh,
I could
so
feel
psychological.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And so there was a little more of a rejection aspect in that. Even though Chris didn't choose me, I kind of felt like I was okay with it.
Yeah.
And then it was like Ben's hurt a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very different experience. And I thought like going in, I'd have the advantage, but I almost felt disadvantaged because then I felt like a loser that it happened to me again. You know, like,
you're not a loser.
No.
You're a winner.
I am a winner, but now in the grand scheme of things. But I was at the time, I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like I go back thinking this is what meant
guy.
to be.
Yeah.
It was all led to this. I had to do that to get to this. Oh my gosh. And
no,
that wasn't it.
So after the show, you were pretty upset, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Where'd you get over it?
I got over it pretty quick. It's a fleeting hurt.
when you share a wall with me, you can't be in too much pain, you know, for that long.
Wait,
because you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde over on the other side of the wall.
Were you already living?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you met her after the first time.
Yeah.
And then that's when you were dating.
No, Robert and I weren't dating yet. We were just friends.
Just friends. And then you
Moved
encourage her to go on the show?
No, I don't think we were like that close. Like,
Okay.
she didn't like run it by me. I wasn't like, we weren't like that tight. But I do remember her saying she was going.
Yeah.
And then she came back pretty quick.
Yeah, I didn't. I made it pretty far that round too. It's not
It was like 3 weeks.
No, it wasn't. It was longer than that. It's a whole 8 weeks, and I went before hometowns.
Oh.
You went when I went.
Yeah.
I
Week
felt like it
7
was
or
quick.
something?
I felt like it was quick.
Number 5, baby.
Yes.
My favorite number.
There we go. It worked out for me.
Worked out for
it
all
worked
of
out
us.
for all of us.
Yeah.
It really did. I want to talk about relationships because I feel like you, Tanya, we chose to. We went on this show of like talking about our, people being in our relationship, whatever. But you really have done that yourself too. Like when
For
you were
sure.
on, you had decided to like really chronicle your dating experience.
It started from a breakup.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I was dating this guy who I thought I was going to marry. And I actually this is the craziest thing because I was going to quit my job on Air with Ryan Seacrest, still producer, still behind the scenes at this time. I was going to quit my job to move to Phoenix to be with him and like live there, have babies, the whole thing. About a month or 2 before I made that big decision, he broke up with me. And so like my whole world came crashing down. And it was so crazy because I cannot hide my emotions. And I'd come into work every day and mind you, I'm still behind the scenes, so it's okay. But I would cry all day long. I'd be answering the phones, tweeting out stuff, and just sobbing the whole time I was at work. And like it was so, I know it's like really embarrassing actually in hindsight. But like at the time I just didn't like, I couldn't believe what had happened. It was like my world shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of like unintentionally happened because I was like the girl, I was the producer who had a boyfriend, and then all of a sudden I was single, and it was like a mermaid who had just gotten feet for the first time.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? So it was like I was dating, I didn't know what I was doing. I was crying every day. I was just this hot mess. And it was just the radio show kind of became like my outlet, my therapy in a way. I wasn't in therapy at the time. So it was just kind of like my outlet. And so once I started, I was like, I had to see it through.
Yeah. And so was that like a conscious decision to be like, I think I want to share this for other people? Like, why did you decide to be so vulnerable about it? Or was it more just like, this is just who I am right now. I can't fake it. And
this is just who I am right now. I'm like, this is my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also I never really got, it wasn't until Robbie, my fiance now, that I started to like hold back at all.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about
Like
that.
literally not one person did I even remotely think like, no, I don't want to share this. It's too special.
Yeah.
I was just like, bleh.
Because that's for both of you, like I said, we've all like we've done the public thing. But I feel like the long-term relationships that you guys are both in now, you've been both like very coy about it, especially at the beginning. What made y'all decide to do that individually?
Well, I mean, yours was because of Robbie's situation. And
Yeah. When I met my now fiance, he was going through a divorce. And so it was just kind of,
Did he ask you to, or did you just know I need to keep this?
he's come a long way
Yeah.
from early days of dating. He was like so not into public figureness, super like private Instagram, private life, private everything. Like I don't want my name, I don't want my image. Like he was like so anti it. He's a
But did he
public
know
profile
you?
Now. He's like, he'll do anything. He'll
He'll do all the TikToks.
He'll do anything. He will literally do
Yeah.
anything. So he's come a very long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, did that make him question even dating you at first? Like, because he could just look up your
Yeah, it was funny
conversations.
because after we matched on Hinge, he'd Googled me. But right before our first date, he sent me a video, and it was like, Tanya Rad talks torturous date with Mr. Wilshire or something like that. And he sent it to me, and he's like, so we have a lot to discuss on this date. And I was like, no, like,
this isn't me.
yeah.
This is just one time.
You're different, like you're totally different.
This happened with me and Adam too. I don't know if we've talked about that, but like he saw that I was talking about my dating experience. Like he looked me up, Googled me like right before the date, and he was like, oh gosh, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah.
Because not only did he find out like I was the Bachelorette, but like I just started doing YouTubes, and I was going into the bathroom. I was on the dates and talking about the dates.
So good.
And that was the first thing that popped up. And he
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh. And he waited to say anything until I was about to go to the bathroom. And he was like, are you going to leave your phone there? And it was like very obvious, like the way he said it, like he had seen, he was like, I know what you do in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, no, I swear I'm not going to do anything.
You're different.
You're different. But he really was.
Yeah.
And so I guess I kind of knew. I was like, oh, I'm more interested in this guy than like I have been in other situations. But I also hadn't been dating that long. So I was like, I don't know. It was different from your experience because you dated for quite a bit and went and talked like
7 years.
7 years.
Isn't that insane?
That is amazing though, because it's like you didn't give up.
I didn't give up. No,
and you
I was
found
a little engine that could just kept trucking along.
But I think it's so like special in that you were able to like share that with so many people that like I know a lot of my friends that are still like in the dating scene, like it can be rough, but like
I think like it honestly in a weird way kept me going because I did feel like I had this community behind me that was cheering me on. And so like it does suck when you get dumped over and over again, or like you see the guy you're dating when you're out to lunch with your best friend holding hands with some other girl, like all that actually happened. But like all that stuff sucks and like it makes you upset and it like makes you cry. But I kept kind of getting back in it because I was like, I know I deserve this. I have all these people that believe in me too. Like it was like almost like a baseball player in a baseball game. You know? It was like,
it was almost like do it for the plot and like whatever happens.
And I know it's gonna happen for me. Like I knew, so I was like, it's just a numbers game at this point. You know, like you don't want me, bye.
Like I was kind of upset that mine didn't get to last for so long. Because I'm like, do it for the like. I'm like, I want
this content.
This is great content. You had a lot of content.
7 years of it.
7 years of it.
A little torturous at some points, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So Becca, for you, you have a different reason why you were more coy. But was that like? Can you share more about that?
Yeah. I mean, Haley and I met in 2018, and then we didn't come out publicly till 2022. So we had 4 years of dating privately. I guess it wasn't on social media, but it wasn't like if I was out or we were out and someone came up and said hi to me, or it was a listener from Scubbing In, I'd be like, this is my girlfriend Haley. You know, I never was like hiding her, and that was very important to me. I think it was a combination of fear, how people would respond, not knowing, especially coming from the Bachelor world. I wasn't sure how are people going to react to this. Will I have support, or am I going to be not canceled, but like will they move?
Yes.
You know,
frown upon.
Frown. Will they be disappointed?
Yeah.
Family. I was nervous about how my family would respond about it being public. They obviously knew. I come from like a very Christian Southern background, so I think there was that part of it. And I also liked that it was ours, and it became for 4 years. I mean, when you do that for 4 years, there's something that it feels so special and sacred that I didn't want anything to taint it.
Yeah.
You know, and if it was a negative reaction, I didn't want that to taint our relationship. So it took me getting to a place where I was like, I don't care if I have my best friends and a small amount of people who support us. I feel confident enough that we can make it through anything. Luckily, we had so much support, like more than I could have ever expected. And I think a huge part of that was our listeners from our podcast, because I think they knew for 4 years.
For sure, they knew.
They knew. And the respect that they had for me, that they kept it private with me, meant so much.
And like Becca would talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, but I didn't use pronouns.
She didn't use pronouns, and it was so hard. Like we would find ourselves being like, yeah, and then you and both went to the same blah, blah, blah. It was so hard.
Yeah, it was so
hard. For years.
Yeah.
How did you protect Becca? How did you feel like when she told you that she had feelings for Haley? Was it like a shock to you?
Because it wasn't like an emotional conversation with any of my friends. I was like, I kissed a girl,
and we were all like, "What? Did you like it?" Yeah. Literally. I think I was more excited because I feel like I was always fearful that Becca like didn't have the love chip in her.
I was too.
Like I was like worried. Like I was like, she's never experienced love, and like how sad. And like I was like, but maybe she just doesn't have it. You know, like maybe she doesn't have that chip in her. It made me feel good because I was like, it made me feel better about our relationship, you know?
What, that I didn't have the chip?
Yeah, you didn't have that love chip.
Yeah.
But then when she met Haley, it was like all that changed and she finally felt it. And like, that was just so freaking cool to see.
Who was the person that you leaned on the most when you're like, okay, I kissed a girl, but why am I singing Katy Perry? It's bad. But like, you can't help it. But like, you were dating men. Like, did you and like your sisters are gay, but did you think of yourself as gay? Like, how did that happen?
I think in retrospect, I can look back and be like, oh, I always, in like romance movies, I always had crushes on the man and the woman.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, everyone has a girl crush on her. You know, like Rachel McAdams, everyone has a girl crush on Rachel.
Yes.
You know? But I think it wasn't just a girl crush in terms of how other people see it. So I think I look back and I see those moments. But I was so heavily involved in my faith, and what I was told was that was wrong. And so I think any part of that felt like a possibility, I shut off.
Yeah.
And I liked guys. I was attracted to men, so it was never like, I don't feel, my sisters, you know, when I talked to them, it was such a different experience. It was like, I never really was attracted to guys, you know? And so I realized we had a different experience, but they lived with me at the time when I met Haley. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
And so I had it, not only the friendship of my sisters, but I had family that loved and supported me during a time where I was kind of like, how is this going to go? You know?
How did you, because y'all are both people of faith, so like how did, you said that really like made you question like how you felt and who you were. Where are you with that now? Like how have you been able to support her, Tanya? Because I feel like we talked about it a little bit, and I feel like you've really been able to come to peace with that. But how's that journey been?
It's been hard, and I think that was the challenge of it more than anything. Was you hear something your whole life, like, don't do that. You know, it's bad. You're going to hell, basically.
Yeah.
And I think it happened when my sisters came out to me, before I even met Haley, it was when my sisters came out to me where I go like, I love these people more than anyone in the world, and I'm supposed to not love them and support them.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's the whole, like, you can love the people and don't support the sin, but when it was my sister, it felt so different. Yeah. And so I think when I met Haley, I was already going through that process in my faith, and, you know, there's things that aren't perfect about any faith, and I will always stand by that. I think I've had to reconcile what I believe and my faith in God and my belief in Jesus and navigate what that means. But Haley doesn't come from a religious background, and she's been I've seen so much more grace and like attributes of what Christians are supposed to be from her, who didn't grow up hearing about it, than I have seen from people who claim that. And so that's been challenging, of navigating, how do we see people, how do we love people as Christians, and how do you show up for people who are struggling, because so many people leave their faith because of what people say and how people treat them. And I think that's so sad, because I think faith is such a beautiful thing, and I find so much value and peace in it. And it's so disheartening to see people leave because of people who claim that name. Yeah, totally.
I totally feel the same. I feel the same thing, because like it's a relationship. Yeah. And if you find peace in where you are, and you've been able to have these types of, I don't know, conversations, and you feel, I don't know. I think that it is such a personal thing, and sometimes religion can get really judgmental. That's the word. I'm like, really judgmental, when like I've never been in your shoes. I don't know what your relationship is with Christ, and gosh, I've had so much, like, it can be really hard, especially when you're doing it like on a public level, because then it's like you're hearing so many. It's not the people that love and support you, and like how you had your relationship or conversation with your sisters when they decided to come out with you. It's like these people who don't know you and have never known somebody who maybe has gone through the same experiences, and then them judging you, like, that's really, really hard. So I really admire that you like took that time to like really honor your experience, your relationship with Haley. But I wonder, like, how did she was she on the same page about keeping it really private and allowing you to like process everything, or did she have a hard time sometimes with that?
At the beginning, she had a hard time
Yeah.
because she was like, I don't want to feel hidden. You know, I have worked so hard to be comfortable with who I am and my sexuality, and being a someone who can give people hope. So I don't want that to be my story where I feel like I'm back in the closet. So that was a lot of conversations were had about, this is not, I'm not hiding you. Everyone who's important to me knows about you. It's not being a public, it's being private. And so there was so many conversations. And then after, you know, so many years, I think she
was like, I can't.
Well, no, I think she appreciated how sacred it was, and like it was ours, and it felt protected. And so I think we were both on the same page when we came out that it was like time, and we were both ready for it.
Yeah.
But she's amazing.
I mean,
she
I was on her side though with all that. Like I was like, I could totally. I'm Haley, you know. So I feel like I would be talking to Becca, and I'm like, I think it's time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but then like I feel like you had so much support, and I think honestly, like allowing yourself to have that time, like I think was really great, and to see how many people like supported and loved you and really valued what you needed, and to allow you to have that time to be like, this is how I want to like share my love. Like I thought it was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of love and support. It very unexpected.
Do you feel like lighter in some way, or did it not really affect that?
No, I feel so much. I felt like I didn't realize I had been carrying it. I was like, it's fine. I'm comfortable with where we're at. I'm comfortable with it being private. I don't need to share my relationship. And as soon as we shared it and it was out there, I literally felt like a weight was... I literally think I lost weight without doing anything, because I think I was carrying just holding it, holding it all together, having to be careful on the podcast of how I spoke about my relationship. It was just like I finally felt like I could breathe.
Yes. How has your relationship with your parents changed?
It was a journey.
Yeah.
I think I never want to, I think a lot of people have gone through the same experience I have, like growing up in the South in a Christian household. And my parents just came out to visit, and it was like such a healing trip. I saw
that.
So
those pictures made me so happy.
Emotional,
It really did, because we've talked about it in the past, and just to see like them with you and Haley and like really like a family. It was really sweet from the outside looking in.
It was a very healing trip, and it's been, like I said, it's been a journey, but a lot of times everyone kept saying, like, with everything, it just takes time. It just takes time. Just wait. And I'm like, okay, I'll wait, but there's no guarantee that it's going to happen.
Right.
And so it was just it was everything. Another time where I felt like a weight was lifted off of me, because I, was
pretty recent too.
Yeah, that just happened. So it was really great. I'm super grateful that happened.
It's really special.
She's gonna be light as a feather.
Yeah,
I'm gonna float out of here at some point. So,
Tanya, you started dating Robbie how long ago?
November 5th of 2019.
I love how you know. You probably know the timestamp of when you went on the date too.
I know a lot of the details. I could tell you. Yeah.
So how did you know like immediately, like, this is my person?
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like we met November 5th, and I feel like by January, like I was already, I love you vibes. I didn't say it until a lot after, but like I don't know. I just knew he was different.
Yeah.
He was like everything that I had wanted.
What made him different?
Everything.
Yeah.
He was so intentional. Like I felt like on our first date, he didn't hide anything from me. He was really upfront. He was really honest. He was honest about where he was, what he was looking for, what he wanted. Like it was just, and it was honest. Like it wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was never what I wanted to hear. It was always really honest to where he was at and how he felt about me. And then I was also like, so physically attracted to him. Like my vagina was like telling me like, this is your dude.
No, was it pulsing? And
Yeah.
Fanny flutters.
Yeah, the fanny flutters. Like I just knew, like everything about it was just like, yeah,
he's your person.
yeah, he's my person.
So, the other thing, I think we've talked about it. You are Christian, and he's
Yeah.
Jewish.
Yeah.
Was that like something that you struggled with? Where are y'all with that now?
I think I struggled with it a little bit because, like, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, I had my list of like what my perfect man would be.
Same.
Yeah.
My perfect
And the
man.
top
Yeah.
one was Christian, you know? And
Yeah.
so I think that was like a weird thing. But to be honest, he, like, it was never an issue for him that I was not Jewish, which is
Yeah.
different for a lot of people.
Yes.
So no, it was never an issue for him. It was never a big issue for me. I think I got rid of that stigma of like
Yes.
my checklist years before I had even met him. But we still, like, our first year dating was the first time he'd ever decorated a Christmas tree in his life. And like now we do Christmas and we celebrate Hanukkah and we celebrate Passover and we
Yeah,
do
I saw
Easter.
that you're
and,
celebrating
like,
Passover.
we do
Yeah.
all the holidays and it's so nice, you know, like the Jewish traditions are so sweet.
Yes,
And very,
yeah.
very family oriented and community based. And I just really, really like their traditions and he really likes mine. And so I think we're just going to be a blended family.
Yeah, so because y'all got engaged a little like right after Adam and I did. So you're in like full wedding mode right now. And I was going to ask like so y'all will do both traditions, like even at the wedding, will y'all like have like a Jewish wedding?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna do some Jewish traditions
Yeah.
in the wedding. I think like maybe one or two. I'm gonna let him decide what he
Yeah.
wants to do. But it'll be pretty like non-denominational. I think Ryan is gonna officiate, and so
No way.
yeah,
So sweet.
yeah. So
I
it'll
love
be like
that.
very like not really leaning,
Religious.
not
Yes.
religious.
Yeah.
But it'll have things
That are important to
that
both of you.
Yeah.
I love that. I just love y'all's friendship. And so I'm interested, obviously y'all have had like totally different experiences in your relationship with the people that you have. Like how important do you think it is for your friends to like and support the relationship that you're in?
I feel like it's so important, but it's so interesting because it's hard to answer that because we both have had that. You know, like I haven't had any.
Yeah, but I did before Robbie, like when I was dating people, you would not shy away from being like, is this really your guy?
Oh yeah, I was very protective because she put her whole heart into every date she went on. So every time she came back with good news, I was like, we going to give this guy permission to break your heart? Like, is this the one? So I was very open and honest, but it never got to a point where you were in a relationship. So,
Right.
But here's the thing. I trust Tanya, and I think you have to trust your
Yeah.
friends. But I do think that there's a place to be honest and upfront if you feel like they're not being treated the way that they should be treated.
Yeah.
So I feel really grateful that I haven't had to navigate that.
Yeah.
Becca's always kind of like my reality check because I'm very emotional and I react to things very emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll come to Becca and be like, he said this and can you believe it? And Becca's like, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
he's right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Tail
I'm not
between
the
my
friend she
legs.
comes to when she needs
The yes
the
person.
yes. Yeah.
Will you sometimes like avoid her and not tell her things because
No,
you
no,
don't
no,
want to
no.
like hear it?
No.
But she would make decisions, and she'd be like, "Oh, her other
This is
friend
what I-
said this," and I'm like, "Okay, do whatever."
My best friend Nora
Raquel.
is the same way. It's so funny. She's very emotional, gets like super passionate about things, and like when I know she's maybe not doing well or doesn't want to hear my advice, she'll just be like, yeah, so I'm going to Austin and I have like 4 dates, and I'm like, aren't we like supposed to like be like trying to be grounded? And she'll like just book the flight and be like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't even give me room to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we're going through it. Well, she'll be back later. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's so like, I'm so blessed to have a friend that she can speak into me and I can speak into her, but like a lot of people don't have that. And so I was just wondering, like, what would your advice be for people who are like struggling to find good female friendship?
That's so hard. We have so many people in our like Facebook group who are always asking like, how do you meet people as an adult?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's like dating.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a numbers game. You have to go places. You have to open your eyes, look up from your phone, exchange phone numbers. You know what I mean? And I think it's just like a click thing. I think oftentimes people try and force it. They go to these, you know, meetups or whatever and like join these athletic club. I think sometimes it just happens instantly. Like you can meet somebody at a concert and have the best time and be like, let's go grab a coffee. And if they don't follow up, then they don't follow up and that's not your person. You know what I mean? Like I think it's literally like dating.
I agree. I think moving to a new city was tough because I knew like acquaintances, but I didn't know anybody. It definitely helped that my best friend then ended up moving with me. So I've had to like try to like, okay, she's been so much better because she's like a little, we call her a fairy. Like she can just like make friends so easily and I have a harder time. But it really is like putting myself in situations where I'm, you know, I'm going to a coffee shop and meeting people or when going to events. And if like there's somebody there that I like kind of like you got to ask them out.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't say anything back. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they really want to be my friend, and I'm like, I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
You know, like
you have to really feel the room.
Well, also there's at a certain age, and when you're in a relationship, you have to figure out where you're putting your energy.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, I don't feel like I clicked, and I don't know if I can give you the energy that you're looking for as a good friend, you just have to. Everyone needs to accept that. But I think putting yourself going to things where you have like interest. So like going, you love to work out. So you could meet someone at a Pilates class, or if JoJo loves pickleball, she could meet her friends at it's like going to things where you have at least one thing in common right off the bat.
Yes, totally. Well, it's time. Well, no, because I was like, how much longer do I have? Like, I've already kept you over. Sorry. But y'all, I love you guys so much. I'm seriously just like inspired by both of you and like what you've created with your podcast. And guys, if you don't listen to Scubbing In, you should, because it's so fun. I love y'all's clips. I think there's like y'all are just funny together, and it just feels like you're with your girlfriends. So thank y'all for like bringing me on. It's always it's a great time, and to have y'all on was an honor, a real treasure.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
so thank y'all.
you.
And yeah, bye guys.
Bye.
Our show is recorded, engineered, and edited by the Legos creative team. Remember to follow Better Tomorrow wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss the next episode. And don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps and shows your support. You can follow me on socials at Hannah Brown, and you can stay updated on all things Better Tomorrow on our Instagram at Better Tomorrow and our TikTok Better Tomorrow podcast.